Good morning. How's everybody? Good, I'm glad to hear that. This is a rather long update. There are a few things that we want to make sure that we include. It's a lot of information. Some of the information I'm going to go through quickly. For your reference, we go ahead and we put this PowerPoint out to the portal. You can get the portal and you can review the notes from there. You can also YouTube. Everybody know that we have a YouTube channel? You should be doing yes. And you can review just about everything I have done in the past by going to YouTube. So I would suspect our subscribers to our YouTube channel to go up. Fair enough? Like I said, we have a lot of information, so we may, if we have time for questions at the end, we'll certainly do that. If not, Shannon shared with me, there's no phone today, so you can't call her and let her know. So if you have an email, jkvlive@johnknox.com, there are a couple people that sent in questions. I've incorporated those questions at the very end so we can move forward. Val, now, I'm not going to say we're out of the scope of storms, but that's what Val is for. Anytime we have a change, we have other changes. There will be a Val going out later today, and I have that in my presentation. We spotted a bear on campus. We want to make sure that you're aware of that. We want to make sure you follow the policy, like don't walk by yourself early in the morning. Don't approach a bear with your dog. Don't walk your dog if the bear is around. A lot of common sense things. We're going to ask you to do that. But Val is the Village Alert Line. We have it both for residents now and for employees. I know I continue to say this. We push out numerous updates to our employees as well. And one of those is we have open enrollment. So now they will get bombarded with alerts to their phones and their emails in regards to updates for open enrollment. Occupancy. I don't know what they did to my screen, but I'll try. Independent living is 79%. What's occupied and sold is 83. You'll notice that cottages are 85.3. What's deposited and occupied is 90.3. Apartments are 64%. One deposit. Villas are 70 out of 74 for 94.6 with 3 additional deposits. We have 39 out of 68. We did, if you recall, we did get our certificate of occupancy for the last 8 units on Valencia Landing. So that's 68. Part of that is when you add inventory that's not sold, it's going to drop your number again. We have 3 additional deposits. Oakview Suites, it's 38 out of 49 for 77.6, and Majestic Oaks is 116 out of 120. Marketing sales. As you know, we've moved to 2 marketing events each month. Our next is the Fall Festival that you're all invited to on the 27th. I know we sent out invites. We would like people that are coming in to visit the community, or if you're bringing friends, we'd like you to RSVP so we know how many people you've got coming in. But it'll be at Valencia Landing again. Part of that is we got great feedback about doing it at Valencia Landing. One of the most important pieces of feedback we got is, Joe, the surface was very level. We could walk. We didn't have to worry about walking in the grass and on an uneven surface and losing our balance. So that's why we're doing it there. We're hoping for a day exactly like we have today. Nice, cool, sunny. And that is one of the reasons why we moved it from in April, the first week in April, to towards the end of October, is to see if we couldn't get a cooler day for our festival. New sales director, and nobody is happier than I. Her name is Tammy Ozut. She is standing in the back. She comes with a ton of experience, and she is very good at what she does. It's one of those lead, follow, get the heck out of the way. This is one of those where I get the heck out of the way. So we're thrilled about that. Interviewing for business development liaison. We have about about 8 really strong candidates. So it's narrowing that list down, doing those interviews. So we're pleased about that. And then Tammy just started interviewing for a third sales counselor. And there is a picture of Tammy for those at home if you didn't get a chance to see her. Dining update. There's a lot of stuff kind of going on with dining. Dishwasher project is complete. And your first question is, Joe, why isn't the Cranes dining room open? Well, one of the things that we plan on doing is we're opening the Cranes on the 22nd, and we're going to be featuring a new menu. We've made some changes. We've made some adjustments. We now have the ability with our software to track each and every meal that you purchase. That is going to go a long way for what are some of the fan favorites and what are some of the ones that are not so promising. And it'll allow us to rotate those. The other item with that is it also allows us, we'll be rotating our menu on a 6-week basis. Now, there will be some things that will be a daily special. There'll be some things that will be a weekly special. And it's going to have an upside down triangle on the menu. If it has that upside down triangle, that means that that's rotating off the very next week. For example, if Tuesday is meatloaf and there's an upside down triangle, next Tuesday it's going to be something else. It won't be meatloaf. So we've listened to a lot of things. We've updated our behind the scenes dining stuff so we can track things a little bit better. And we're going to be rolling that out, a new menu on the 22nd. We are excited. We hope you're excited. Some are still fan favorites. We know they're fan favorites because we've gotten feedback. Some of them we're trying some new and different things. So we're going to ask to give us your feedback. The dining venues, when they open, Bay Dining Room will go back to Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 2 and 4 to 7. Sunday and Monday they'll be closed. Oak Tree Grill, Sunday through Saturday, 8 to 7. While we haven't seen a nice little bust up between 5 and 7 o'clock at the grill, we've decided for right now we're going to go ahead and leave the grill on Sunday until 7 o'clock. Valencia Landing will go Wednesday through Saturday, 4 to 7. Sunday and Tuesday, Sunday through Tuesday, they'll be closed. We're considering a plated brunch, and we will get into it. There will be more information about that. And the bistro is Wednesday through Sunday, 11:30 to 5:30. And then curbside service. We do have a lot of people that still love curbside service. It's something we developed during the pandemic, and it continues to remain very, very popular. And so curbside service does not change. All right, dining program. We've added just about 5% more to your dining program. I know some of you will say, hey, that's great. Some of you, Joe, I don't spend the money I have now. And others of you is, what are you doing? Well, we have moved our menu prices just a little bit, and we want to make sure, please understand that when we have a menu price, it is not the same as a menu price of going outside the community and doing that. I'm trying to think of the one I looked at the other day, like for example, salmon. That is not, say you can go out and spend $32 on salmon. Cedar plank salmon, it's a nice piece of salmon with a couple of sides. We don't charge anywhere near $32 for that. Now, that said, we don't need to, because when we say we charge you that, we're not necessarily making money. That's to make sure that we help you balance your dining account. We try to configure the dining program. A full dining program is you're able to go ahead and get one meal a day for 31 days. And that is a soup, a salad, an entree, and a drink. Drink's obviously included in that. That's what we try to do. Now, you want dessert, and that's a little bit different story. But in that particular case, we're able to achieve that. We've kind of held tight on some of the things. The current program for a full meal, for a single, is $4.28. For a couple is $8.56. And it's $100-$200. If it's a single person, it's $100 carryover. It's $200 if it's a couple. There's a limited program. Now, you'll notice the asterisk next to these. These are grandfather dining programs. These If somebody is in this program, they're in this program. New residents coming in don't have access to this. So a limited is $287, a couple is $574. You get a $70 credit for the month, or $140 if you're both on it. There is no carryover. A mixed includes a limited and a full, and that's why it's only a couple. It's $715. You'll get a $70 credit. You'll get a $100 carryover. Make sense? These are the new numbers. A full meal program, dining program, now goes to $450. A couple is $900. You still get your $100, $200 carryover if you want to do that. A limited is $301 for a single person, $602 for a couple. Again, $70 if it's a single, $140 if it's a couple credit, and then the mix is $751 with a 70 and 100. That's just over a 5% increase of money that we've allocated more towards your dining program. Everybody, does that make sense to everybody? Again, this is grandfathered. People that are in a limited or a mix are grandfathered in. Why did we do away with this? We did away with it because we want people to take advantage of the dining. We put a lot of time, effort, and energy and resources into our dining program. We even opened up Valencia Landing now has a dining room. So we have a variety of dining programs to do that. That money is kind of carved out. It's carved out so you can enjoy whether you want 31 meals a month or you want 12 meals a month. You have that money to allocate. So you decide, and I know many of you will do this, you have family that come in for Thanksgiving. You'll save most of the money from your dining program at Thanksgiving so you can bring your family in and they can dine on your program. I want to make something else very clear. This is a dining program, not a beverage program. All right? I love a cocktail with my dinner as much as the next guy. Now, the reason being is that we have to move some of our numbers to make some things work. While you might be able to go and get, here you can get a $3 glass of wine, my question is where would you be able to go and get a $3 glass of wine? Nowhere. So if you see us move our prices for our beverages, more importantly, alcohol, I've kind of given you a heads up because we have been, I don't want to stay stale, but we have tried to maintain the status quo as long as we possibly could, and we have to move those things. But again, it's a dining program, not a beverage program, and this is what the new one that starts on January 1. And it does add just over 5% back to your allocation. Fair enough? All right, holiday dining, this is just a heads up. I share this because in November, there's a lot of things going on in November. And if I don't do a chat, you're going to say, Joe, you never warned us about the holiday dining hours. And we will push out as much information as quickly as we possibly can. This is projected of what we plan on doing during the holidays. Valencia is a buffet lunch. The seating will be at 11 and 1. That's p.m., not a.m. So I got a little quick on the finger, hit an A instead of a P. That is 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Cranes will be a plated meal at noon and 3, and the grill will be open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Water mitigation. Now, I want to tell you there's good news here. I can't share it because it has officially not been disclosed to me in official capacity, but there's good news here. We're waiting on Harris Engineering to give us their final bid to finish developing and designing how we need to fix the Holly Branch Pond. As we go back and we do our root cause analysis, what happened, what went wrong, some of the other little things that went wrong is Holly Branch Pond dry pond, it did not operate the way we needed it to. And so they are working on a bid to redesign that. And then we've asked them to look at, must be that time of the year where they're keep getting busy. We're waiting on the bid for the Veterans Memorial Dry Pond expansion, if we can do that. I love that little riff. The water table, you see that we're pumping water. The water table is high. In anticipation that one of these storms may make it through, that's why we pump down the lake. Now, some of you have noticed that, hey, but you're pumping water back in. What are you doing there? You're pumping water out and you're pumping water in. Now, Mark has decided what he wants to do is he doesn't want the water to be stale and become stale, because some of those ponds do. So he's trying to cause the circulation. All he's doing is taking that water, pulling it in and pulling it back out to provide some circulation in the pond. He said, Joe, I'll turn it off, so you don't get that question. But that was one of the questions, why are you pumping water into and out of the pond? We're pumping a lot of water out to pull that down in case we have a storm, but he was pumping water, just circulating water to create circulation in the lake. Roofing contractor, new roofing contractor is Golden Eagle. I'm told we will have a contract in hand, and I believe as soon as we have a contract in hand, they will begin moving and mobilizing. Now, what does that mean? I'm told they can get the project done in 3 months. So that's November, December, January, so they'd be done by February. We can push it to the end of February. There are some things that we've paused on doing because we've wanted to get these roofs done. And now we're into the time of the year where we're going to be working on it, so you may see a lot of activity in yours. We will give latitude to the roofers as soon as either we will get there before they do or after they do. Now, one of the things that we came upon with the roofing, with as hard as we've tried, and we even have our own golf cart with a magnet in front of it to try to pull up any other nails or metal debris that might come off that roof. There's been nails. There's been debris that has been left. They've run magnets, we run magnets, and eventually what happens, I'm going to guess we've had as many as 12 people end up getting a nail in a tire. I'm going to ask, please, 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 before, if your roof is being done, before you drive, do a walk around your car so you don't end up on the side of the road with a flat tire. We will talk to them ad nauseum about this. We will make sure we do everything we possibly can. And one of the things you can do is just do a walk around. If your cottage is being re-roofed, just do a walk around to make sure that there are no nails. Other thing, we're offering $20,000 off of cottages and apartments through December 31st. We want to make sure that we able to capture a good audience and capture everything we possibly can as far as marketing. So that is a marketing offer. And then again, we've talked about this in the past. There's a 10% military discount on entrance fees. Please remember, this is $20,000 off entrance fees, or 10% off, $20,000 off an entrance fee, or up to $40,000 off an entrance fee. And that's new sales. Landscaping. We received a variety of complaints. I met with a resident that had a number of complaints and concerns. I met with them. We take all complaints and concerns seriously. When I get as many as I do in one sitting, what I do is I put together an action plan. I'm only giving you part of what we do. Our action plan is kind of an internal document that we use to monitor our progress or the lack thereof. And we check on it frequently. The next number of slides are issues that were brought to us. I did not edit the questions, so if it doesn't sound like it's really a question, I understand that. But this is what was given to us, and we have responded. So I want to make sure we will continue to give you an update until most, if not all, these things are resolved. And I just phrased it as landscaping, and when you read the question, it refers to Valencia Landing. But you can take this and reference this to the entire campus in certain spots. We know what our issues are. We're coming into the time of the year where it gives us a great opportunity to improve and move some of these items forward. So it is the box at the top is what the concern is, and then the little arrow is what our response is. Now, some of these things you'll notice that are done, next time I give you an update, they will fall off if we consider them resolved. Not professional service being provided, landscaping, not professional service being provided. Dozens of areas in Valencia where sod is either missing, brown, or dead. Where sod was just replaced, it's turning brown. Is this acceptable to JKV? And the answer is obviously no, it is not. And you can see we completed sod replacements on July 26th and the 27th. Second sod replacement was done on August 7th and through the 10th. We will complete the repairs and sod replacement by November 10th. Right now, McMaster's is scheduled for sod replacement November 6th through the 10th. We know that there were a couple of places where, really quite honestly, McMaster put chemicals down and burned it out. There are other areas that didn't get enough water. They're new sod and it didn't get enough water, and we know there are weeds that grew through that. We have addressed that. There's another question in here. So another question addresses irrigation, but we'll get to that in just a second. Irrigation is suspect, not applied at proper times. We contacted the vendor to review the pressure of the auxiliary pump. One of the items is there's not enough water pressure from Orange City for it to push the irrigation. So as part of the Valencia Landing project, what we had to do is we had to put a pump on that to provide greater pressure. The city shared with us they meet the requirements for water pressure. It wasn't enough pressure for us to be able to. In fact, we had to modify a lot of the irrigation that we did at Valencia because there was not enough pressure. And then we added a pump to that to make sure we got it taken care of. I'm just going to summarize what I know that we've done. We brought the contractor in. He reviewed it. There was a piece that needed to be replaced. The piece was replaced. We've been doing weekly rounds, and I've been down and I do them on Friday mornings. It's either Thursday late morning or Friday morning. I do my rounds for landscaping and irrigation. And we notice that we have two completely different areas at Valencia that are on irrigation. One is working well, one is not working well. And yet the pump seems to be working fine. So we believe that the pump is overtaxed. But why would the farthest area be working well? Just common sense when we ask those questions. And as we go through these things, we'll ask questions. We try to do this. We've brought the contractor back out to be able to address this, and we've decided we're going to narrow some scope and water smaller areas probably more frequently. Now, the next number of pages are exactly like this. I am going to go through them quickly if you don't mind. Anybody have a problem with that? All right, not seeing a problem, I'll move through these a little bit quicker. Weeds have overtaken the landing, beds, yards, shrubs are not trimmed, bahia is put down behind the homes was not installed correctly, not leveled, weeds are not treated prior. We hired an outside contractor to go through and pull all the weeds out of all the beds at Valencia and to go ahead and put down fresh mulch. That was part of the things that we did. Our team didn't have time to get to it, so we hired that out, and that has all been done, including the clubhouse. 3 times since January, lawn cutting has been canceled. Edging is only being done once a month. Proper process for hybrid sod, especially newer. If service is being decreased, should the bill be lowered too? As you know, many of you have already lived in Florida. You know from November normally through, in fact it's October, through April, end of March, April, you don't cut your grass as frequently. We do that. We evaluate if the grass needs to be cut or it doesn't need to be cut. We should be trimming and edging every single time we cut grass, regardless. And we've gone back and we've spent considerable time educating the grounds people on doing just that. And the most important thing that we spent time on is making sure they have an attention to detail. I've done it. I love doing my own yard. But there are sometimes I get to the corner and I pull up too quick and there's a weed or a vine that they call St. Augustine grass that I didn't get, and I have to go back and get it. Now, when you're trying to do 110 acres of land, sometimes you miss that. Is it acceptable? No. So we've educated the grounds people to go back and pay a little bit more attention to detail. McMaster trailer in Northgate has been parked near the back guard shack for months. This area, the entrance of the village, has yet been allowed to become an eyesore. The stacks of pallets and shrubs sitting in pots for months should not be indicative of our village. Well, it just so happened to be that we had that scheduled for all that stuff to be removed. So when I met with the resident on the 31st, when I went out on September 1st, all that stuff had been taken out and had been removed. And then the grass was replaced on September 8th. This next time you won't see because it's been resolved. Dining services. Inconsistent service with dining venue servers and cooks. This is probably one of the biggest things that we've implemented. We've implemented a daily stand-up for all our staff. Sometimes in the past it was hit or miss, maybe not necessarily the greatest. Some managers do it well, some managers not do it very well. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to attend those stand-ups to make sure that it gets executed. And it's just like many of you are in business. What's the first thing you deal with, you get when you walk into work? And that is what's currently going on. What do we need to change? What adjustments do we need to make in our service? What do we need to train our staff on? We've implemented that for the dining to better communicate, because sometimes we get feedback from them saying, I was never told, I was never told, I was never told. So now we document what they were told, they sign for what they were told, so we ensure that they're told and given the information for them to best be able to do their job. Questions regarding effective training program for servers? Yes, you're right. And while we have trained them, we suffer from, this is me being transparent, we suffer from what many organizations have done in the past, and that is, this person's a great server, let's stick the new person with this server. Well, what we don't see sometimes is the shortcuts that server may take, that the new server now learns, right? Or little things that we not necessarily catch. So what we've done is we're bringing all that back in and creating a checklist on education for each and every server, our cooks, our dietary people, to ensure that they're following what we've asked them to do. Now, we've started the training program. Officially, we believe we'll have all the program implemented by January 1. So while they may be doing something now, there may be something additional. There will be something additional that they'll do on January 1. But as an immediate fix, we've spent time. That's the reason for the stand-up, because there's also a little educational moment, as we like to say, to be able to share with our servers and for them to get along. Many of our servers do an outstanding job, but we have new people learning bad habits on things that we don't want them to learn. And sometimes they don't always learn the things that we need them to learn. Why do we not have a certified nutritionist or dietary specialist on staff to create menus that are more healthy? We do. If you didn't know that, we have had somebody for years. Her name is Sheila Joseph. We've asked her to look at our current menus. We created the menus. We've asked her to look at those. If you have specific dietary needs, if you have a change in your health condition where you need a change in dietary needs, all you have to do is let us know and we will connect you with her. While she resides at Majestic Oaks, because what she does is she reviews diets and she reviews the nutritional needs of residents that are the most vulnerable on our campus. She also reviews the menus at Oakview Suites Assisted Living, and she helps with their nutritional needs. She's on campus to be able to help you with your nutritional needs. So if you have a new health condition or you have something that's going on and you want to be able to address it through nutrition, please feel free to reach out to her. And we will periodically put this on the list to kind of rotate that through. But her name is Sheila Joseph, and you can reach her at Majestic Oaks, or you can even contact Stan, and he can get you connected with Sheila, and she'd be happy to chat with you. Fair enough? Why can't our menus include more healthy options for residents here in the age group that have issues with diabetes and cholesterol problems? You know, we've talked before about the number of entrees that we have. And any one time through those, we have about 78 entrees. And many of those can be served in a more healthy manner, should you like that. And if it's, you know, you have chicken, you can go to the Crane's dining room, and many of you know, we're not always good, or have always done a great job of letting you know simple things like, hey, you know, you can get a chicken breast any way you want it. You can get it blackened, you can get it panko, you can get it grilled, you can get it broiled, you can get it just about any way you want it as a healthy option. We do that, and well, if you ask, we'll tell you. If you don't say something, our servers don't always know that. So that's part of the training that we've gone back and done. We also have been able to do various things that if you want something as simple as a grilled cheese sandwich, you go to the grill, they can make you a grilled cheese sandwich. So if there's something that you don't see on the menu that you'd like to have that you think is kind of pretty simple, maybe a grilled ham and cheese sandwich, you may not see that, ask. Just ask. And the worst they can tell you is, no, we can't do that, or we don't have the supplies to be able to do it. That's the worst they're going to tell you. So while we take the onus of the training and responsibility to notify that, sometimes when we have as many dining venues as we have, it's sometimes difficult to share all the detail in regards to the menus. And staff take the position that I'd rather you have a grilled cheese sandwich and ask for it and walk away happy than me telling you no. So I'm going to extend myself to do the best job I possibly can to get you that grilled cheese sandwich. And I'm only using that as an example. There are many other examples we can share. Why don't the residents have a say in what appears on the menus in the restaurants? The menu hasn't changed significantly in years. It's old and stale, and you might have a very good point there. During the pandemic, and when we came out of the pandemic, we wanted to do some things, not an excuse, it's just the reason. And we started working on that earlier in the year to change the menus, and we'll be changing menus again. Part of that was us doing our homework and fixing behind the scenes stuff that we need to be able to do. And we're in the process, and we've done that, and I think you'll see that. And we're looking forward to feedback on the new menus. Get the bistro open. Many comments regarding the residents. The bistro is actually, we talked about it for September 25th. The bistro actually opened on the 27th. Someone should be able to make reservations on the portal. We've kind of mixed and matched in regards to Crane's, some being able to make reservations on the portal. We, again, fixing some of the backdoor things, we can put reservations on the portal. You can go and make reservations for Valencia Landing. We will also give you the opportunity to make reservations at SH Crane's. Those are probably the two busiest. Now, please understand, that doesn't mean you have to make reservations. Because I know as soon as I leave here today, I'm going to get inundated with emails saying, Joe, why do we have to make reservations? You don't have to make reservations. What we will do is we're going to work on being able to make reservations through the portal. Now, sometimes canceling those reservations through the portal is very, very difficult, and it's a timing thing of us getting that information. But we'll go ahead and we'll be able to give you the opportunity to be able to make reservations through the portal for SH Crane's along with Valencia Landing. Now, the grill is not a reservation type. It's a first come, first serve, and bay is a first come, first serve. So we are going to leave those just the way they are. Fair enough? But let me be clear. That doesn't mean you have to make reservations. Parking around the restaurants is out of control. Carts are parking in handicap spaces without proper signs. There isn't enough handicap parking in some areas. We monitor the parking in all the dining venues. We try to make some changes. I know some of you have, what is it? Is it an SMV now? It's no longer considered a golf cart. It's an SMV, small motor vehicle. It is the larger golf cart that is like a foot wider, enclosed. It's got air conditioning, and really, if you wanted to drive it on the road, you can do that. Well, they don't fit into the golf cart spots. So we've initiated going through our parking lots to see where we need to restripe and we need to change what we're doing in those. Please be patient. That, among a number of other things, is going to take a little bit of time. So while we have that on our list to be able to address, it's going to take a little bit of time because we need to make those spots for golf carts and SMVs a little wider. Temperature in Oak Tree Grill. Yeah, I don't know. And I know many of you will probably agree with this. I've spent the last week every place I have gone. In fact, actually the last 2 weeks, every place I've gone, and evaluated the temperature everywhere I went. Whether it was a restaurant, whether it was a store, whether it was Walmart, Publix, it didn't make any difference. I'm going to tell you, they're awfully cold. They're awfully cold. We're not using that as an excuse. What we've done is we've done everything in our power to be able to adjust that temperature. And while we try to monitor it and get that right, we're still trying to work out that balance. What we've done is we've reached out to a contractor to come and evaluate the airflow, evaluate the unit that's providing the air. Apparently it works very well. Maybe it works too well. And we've evaluated the airflow, because I know some of you that I've spoken to have given me an, hey, if we open this door, Joe, this allows some of that air out, which makes it a little less colder or cooler in here. So we're going to reach out to see if there's anything we can do to see if we can come to some finality in regards to this. We're just going to continue to do best we can. Mark has made every adjustment he possibly can, and it's not working the way, and it still remains to be cold. It's still cold in there. And if we go a little bit too far, we're going to work with resident council on all these issues. And we will keep resident council informed on what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we've asked for their assistance and their feedback on some of these things. So as we continue to move forward, resident council will work with us, give us feedback, and we'll get those. And then adequate staff scheduled. We monitor staffing schedules. We have more dining staff than we have ever had. Is it we need more dining staff, or we need a proper allocation of dining staff? What does it come out to be? And as we get a good feel, and as our menus continue to roll out and we figure out what the utilization for each dining venue is, we'll come and we'll establish a new pattern, and that'll assist us in being able to do that. And last, and certainly, of course, not least, Centrix. If I keep some of my comments brief, please just take that into account that we're still have a contract with Centrix, and remember, this goes on YouTube. Okay? We completely agree with the comments. Centrix has not done what they said they promised they would do. Period. Stop. No reason to go on from there. We have worked with them. We believe, in our opinion, we've given them every opportunity to show us that they can do what they say they're going to do. And when it comes to internet or phone, if it was possible to give, it would be like a Google. If it would be possible to give 0 stars, we certainly would. We've reached out to a number of organizations. We've reached out to different vendors. And as we go through here, I'll continue to give you an update. No, for Centrix, no knowledgeable technicians, calls to customer service are not returned. On-site people have met with little knowledge of their own system. One of the things that we did early on, and I talked about this early on, we planned on creating our own specialty group, our own maintenance guys to be able to troubleshoot this system. In particular because for what they wanted, we weren't going to get, and it's in hindsight 2020 on this was probably, it was one of the good ones, is they were going to give us a person and they were going to charge us an exorbitant sum in customer service and care. They would send us somebody, but we have found that one person hasn't been able to keep up. And so what we did is we created our own experts in-house, and while the gentlemen have done the best job they possibly could, the issues have been outside their control. And from what we've seen, it is beyond Centrix expertise in these particular areas. The contract must have an option to cancel due to poor or no service. Find a company that can deliver what we're paying for now. Why can't Spectrum and Centrix both be in the village and let the residents decide who they want? That is exactly what we're trying to do. To see if we can have an alternative provider. What we're looking at right now is it may end up being for internet and phone, it might be an all or nothing. Meaning you won't, either we'll all have to go with Centrix, or we'll all have to go with Spectrum, or we'll all have to go with Lumen, or we'll all have to go with one of 2 or 3 other companies. But we're digging into, in this particular case, we feel like since they didn't promise what they delivered, we're getting into what we refer to as the weeds, things that are beyond our expertise, and we're contacting and contracting with people that know more than us on this to make sure that we get it and get this next one right. It's important that we get this right. Our residents being credited for hours the system has been unusable. We have and we will provide residents when we're made aware of outages and downtime of a credit. If we haven't, please don't all of a sudden start making phone calls. I ask that you just send an email and ask for, hey, your service was down and what would the credit be? So if we've missed you in getting you a credit, please reach out. Don't call, because then where everybody's going to call, just please send an email or send us a letter and we'll get you that credit. Fair enough? Is Centrix reimbursing JKV for all the labor hours from our people trying to fix this? The answer to that is no, and that's twofold. One is we've gone back to them and asked them for relief because the system hasn't been. The second part of that is we knew that we were going to take on that portion. We were going to do the service and the customer service of helping the end user, yourselves, because we didn't want a stranger coming into your unit and you having problems. And really, quite honestly, when they did have somebody on campus, that is exactly what we ran into. They didn't properly identify themselves, and you didn't know who this person was. This person came in, sat on the sofa, and didn't do anything. So we ended up with a number of other things. Everyone is tired of, we're working on it. Give us service that works, and we agree completely. We agree with you completely. Nobody is more disappointed than I am. No one is more stressed about this than I am. If there is one thing I could remove out of my life, this would be it. My life would be great. You shouldn't, I shouldn't have to worry about a service that is, pardon the expression, a second-tier service that everybody has access to and has the ability for. It should not be causing me daily, hourly stress. We want to make sure that we get it right. I've heard you. I have lived with this way too long. And we'll get it right. Please, we will get it right. I will give you updates as we possibly can. We're looking at new equipment. We're looking at equipment providers. We're looking at providers that can take over their equipment. We're looking at a variety of things. There are so many things on the board that what we did is we just sat down and we brainstormed of what does this look like moving forward. And we want to make sure that we get it right. And when we have information, I know that I'll have your support when we make our move. Fair enough? All right. I was asked this, the people that were at the gathering place this morning. This is what I know. If you have questions, I'm going to push you towards Michael. The studio, the new crafts room. They're packing the cabinets in the art room on the 19th. All items will be moved to the studio. That is the third floor Citrus, and if you're wondering what that is, it is the old Citrus dining room. The cabinets from the art room will be moved to the studio for use. Lockers are being custom made, and the install date on that is October 27th, and the construction studio is expected to be completed. That's expected to be completed at the end of the month. COVID. What do you need to know about this? It's the same update that we had. I've chatted with Nicole. Nicole is going to try to get the vaccine. The vaccine is incredibly expensive, and we may send out to make sure that we have people that are interested, because unused goes to waste. And if people are interested, we want to make sure that you get access to it, and we will work that out. So she wanted me to share that with you. Flu and pneumonia. We offer this annually. If you didn't know, we've already had 2 clinics. We've given 306 flu shots, and we've given 157 pneumonia vaccines. There is a makeup clinic. Put this in if you haven't gotten your flu shot, there's a makeup clinic on the 23rd at the Oakview entrance. Why is it the 23rd? That's when we do assisted living, and we'll be doing the residents in assisted living on the 23rd. And other people, the rest of the village can come at that particular time, and we'll push out more information. Illness protocols. You've all seen this, right? It's a couple more lines here. Flu season in Florida is October through May, and the height is between December and February. Remember, the coronavirus is still active. It's going to mimic, it's going to piggyback on the flu. You may think you're just having the flu, but even if you're having the flu, please make sure you stay home, keep yourself sick. Wash your hands, cover your coughs. Scams. I can't say this enough. No sooner than we got done with our chat last week, then we got report of an incident where a resident was updating their computer, and all of a sudden got that screen. Your information has been compromised. People may have access to your bank account or any banking information you have on your computer. Like anybody else, I'd panic too. And so you just kind of wonder. And it's kind of easy. I'm going to go on a tangent. There's a movie coming out, a Jason Statham movie, in regards to the beekeeper. If you haven't seen the results of that, you haven't seen that, go to YouTube, look at video. Anyway, there are companies that specialize in scamming you. And unfortunately, this resident got scammed. And this is the way I have heard it. So if I'm wrong on something, this is the way that I have heard it. They were told that they can take care of it, but they need to go to their bank and remove a considerable sum of money. The number I heard was $19,000. So resident removed the money, and you need to go put it in a Bitcoin machine into land. Don't tell anybody at the bank why you're removing the money. Now, some of you are like, okay, there's 1 red flag, there's 2 red flags, there's 3 red flags. Why a Bitcoin machine? They did it, and sure enough, that money is gone. That money is gone. And they're good. The people that do this are very, very good at what they do. And it's not uncommon. I know that Russia has a number of hackers that are very, very good. In fact, they have a whole black site or dark web site that is able to do that. Make sure that you have protection on your laptop or your computer or whatever you have. And again, no sooner did we talk about this, and then somebody gets a call in regards to just say yes. We've talked about that. Bottom line, regardless of what this says, if you get a letter, in fact, there are people that got a letter from, I think it was Orange City anesthesiologists or anesthetics, LLC, that their health information may have been compromised. That is true. That one is real. But you could receive a letter like that and think it's true, and then you go ahead and give everybody your information and give your number. When in doubt, contact administration. Just remember that. Don't take action. When in doubt, the worst that's going to happen is we're going to agree with you and say, yeah, it's true. That really did happen. We don't want anyone to get scammed. And we've talked before, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when is it going to happen. Fair enough? JKV safety protocol. We've been through this. We've been through this a number of times. It is, I just kind of put this in there again because then we're talking about bears being on property. If you didn't know, bears were sighted this morning in the nasturtium. They were heading towards the lake, towards the wetland area. Any food, if you keep food outside for maybe cats or other little things that you shouldn't be doing. Birdseed, please put it in a sealed container. Make sure the container is sealed. And please use extreme caution. If you walk early in the morning, we're going to come through the time change, and it's not until I think November 5th. So it's dark in the morning, and it gets darker at night. So when you walk, it's going to be dark. We're going to ask you to be careful. Be careful. If you walk a small dog, please don't walk them through the community. Wait until it's light. Wait until there's some additional activity. And coffee with. Shannon will be doing it on the 25th, which is next Wednesday. And if you have ideas for coffee with, we're going to ask you to go ahead and let us know. And in fact, you can call Amanda Logan if you have ideas for coffee with. Because what she's trying to do is she's trying to do some of the coffee with, and she's trying to set up a schedule where she has people from the outside come in and does additional coffee with to make sure that you have the information that you need, want, and desire. Questions, one of them is about the water being pumped out and then being pumped in. We answered that. And then the second question is the ladies that do our yearly cleaning and carpet cleaner are on contract and not JKV employees. Are you allowed to give gratuities to them or not? They are contract, they are not. We contract them out and we pay for that cleaning. If you so choose to give them a gratuity, don't tell me about it. Because I would tell you, no, don't do it. We pay them we pay them a nice sum to clean your unit, do your annual cleaning. Mine would be, don't give them a gratuity, but if you do, don't share it with me. Fair enough? That's it. Anybody have any quick questions?
You talked about the YouTube channel. The problem with that is the volume. You can't hear it when you put on the YouTube channel. I put my computer on as loud as it will go, and I'm struggle. And okay. I've heard other people say that, so maybe we could change that. And the other thing is, we all need to remember that we do need to change Centrix, but remember it's not going to be $40 whatever we go to. You know, remember Spectrum was about $200, so keep that in mind.
Well, and that said, I mean, that's the reason why we got away from Spectrum. I mean, some of you may not understand that. We got away from Spectrum because Spectrum just kept moving the package up. I'm going to tell you this story for the probably 500th time. We asked to have, we'd sign a contract with them. We'd sign a 5-year agreement. We asked for a contract, and they said $30 a month. They would provide cable and internet services, Wi-Fi. $30 a month. I said, absolutely, let's go. 30 minutes later, they gave me a call back, and they said, no, we can't do it for that. It's got to be 40. Well, so I did the math really quick. I can still make 40 work, so 40 okay. I emailed them, and I could tell you who I will, but I don't want to embarrass them, and I don't want to get hit for slander either. Emailed them every couple of weeks wondering where we're at with the 40. So finally was able to get them on the phone, and I said, hey, we've not heard anything about $40 for our unit, and it's every unit that we would have to pay $40. Whether it's occupied or not, we have to pay for that unit. It's the same thing across the board. And they said, well, I'll take it to the finance committee. Finance committee, in about 2 hours, shot it down. Said, we can't do it for that, $50. So in a matter of 6 months, I went from $30 to $50. That's $50 for every unit, whether it's vacant or not. That's a considerable sum of money. In particular, because they also had problems with their infrastructure. They had problems with it going down. We know there was a flooded area. I talked to a number of other providers that are in the area that have had Spectrum for their service, and they wanted to get out of their contract in the worst kind of way also. And that's what set us on the journey to end up finding Centrix. Now, ideally, if they would work the way it said it worked, we would have no problems. I'd have no stress. I would not be losing here. But that's not the way it is. So nobody is going to be able to do it for what we're doing, but we understand sometimes you're paying for something you're not even getting. In fact, they could give it away and you still wouldn't take it. So please, we're going to ask that you remain patient, and we will work through this the best and the quickest that we possibly can.
I'd like to say a word for Spectrum. We had Spectrum before we moved here. We went to Centric and immediately decided that wasn't for us. We are back on Spectrum. We get anything we need, and I am not a sleeper. If I call them at 3 o'clock in the morning and they tell me that I'm to reboot something, and I tell them there's an ambulation problem, they do it. It's just a three-number call. I have everything I want, and they've actually sent somebody out who fixed something for me, free. So I don't know what you're having with Spectrum, but I've had wonderful.
Okay, but what I would ask is also consider what you're paying.
I don't know. What are we paying?
I don't. The Spectrum we have just recently reduced our monthly rate to $140, and we get everything. And it'll last at least 10 months, and I don't know what will happen after that, but that's just.
I'm going to recommend you call at month 9.
Pardon?
And call in month 9 and ask them if they're running any additional specials.
Yes.
Yeah.
One back here.
Hi, I'm Lucy Skeevers. I'm a new kid, and I have a basic question. When we were discussing the Spectrum situation, you said something about a credit if you lose service, and you said to email. So I have 2 questions. Last night, coincidentally, I was watching TV and Amazon, and I lost my ability to watch the program anymore. And I shut it down and did all the things I thought I was supposed to do, and I never got it back up. And I said, okay, fine, and I went to bed. So I wouldn't be able to say how long it was down. And then the second part of that is email who?
Okay. Sorry, Joy. We're going to ask you, Joy Donovan has been the trooper. She has been the one who takes a lot of the grief. Email Joy Donovan. We will put her in the Village Weekly to email. So you can look at the Village Weekly and we'll put her on the portal because she tracks everything Centrix. So we want to know when you even have those little glitches. Why? We need to know whether it is user error, and I'm not saying it's user error because it certainly doesn't sound that way. We need to know whether it's user error, it's an equipment error, or it's a Centrix error, meaning it's just part of their system and their system is not doing what it should be doing. Because as we go back to the table with them, we're going to have this conversation. And every little bit, I know it sounds like we have volumes of information now. We need to know why that happened. Why did that happen at your address and maybe not next door? Because as we have explored this, we have found a number of things that we didn't realize that it actually happened. Can't share those right now, but when the time is right, I certainly will. So those are the things. We need to know if it's a Centrix issue, it's an equipment issue, it's a user error. So that's why we want you to let us know that. Yes, ma'am.
The portal. It is almost impossible to sign up for an event on the portal. It takes so long. Is there any way that we can goose this and make it work a little more effectively?
We've actually been in touch with the portal company about giving us some additional bandwidth. And then there's a tremendous amount of large documents on the portal. So little by little, that is also weighing our site down. So little by little, we're removing out-of-date documents to hopefully speed that up. But we have been in touch with the company to help us because we know that's been an issue lately.
Okay. One last question.
It's not really a question. Maybe you mentioned with Centrix or the new vendors that you were going to look for somebody to maybe take over the equipment. As a sort of a tech guy, I kind of highly recommend don't take over what you got, because what you got is very poor. The other thing I did, and I got this from Ray, is I have a TV that's far better than their equipment. I connected directly to the signal coming off the wall through a smart TV, and the picture is better, the sound is better, but the TV is smarter than their E-hubs. So if somebody new comes in, don't keep the E-hubs. You got to get something different. But if anybody's got a smart TV and they want to hook it directly to the wall, they'll get a better picture. The picture being delivered is adequate. It's just the E-hubs that are the problem in my part.
All right. I am going to end this. I'm sorry, people at home. We're going to end this. I'm going to say bye, and if you sit still for a second, I'll respond to that. All right. So thanks for coming, and we'll get back to you. We'll see you really soon.